Welcome to The System Works, the lifestyle channel that shows you who you are, what you truly want, and how to get it. The System Works. Own it. Welcome to The System Works. I am your host, Ernest Phillips, and today's topic, this is a challenging one for a lot of people. If you feel triggered, I understand. If you feel triggered because you are one of the people that does this and still does this, well, this is going to be about you. If you are one of the people that have to deal with the people who do this, this is going to trigger you maybe a little bit more. And today's topic is how to stop being late. All right. I was one of those people that I was late to absolutely everything. And I mean basically everything. Late to class, late to lunch, late to football practice, late to, it really didn't matter. The joke was that I was going to be late to my own funeral, but there would have been one heck of a story. Let me give you an idea of just how late I was as a kid. There was a time when a group of us were getting together to play some basketball, and the guy said the time that we were going to meet, and by the time I got there, they were done, and they were finishing up. And because I had been late for as long as they had known me, they were just like, "Hey, good to see ya. Well, we're going back to so-and-so's house to have some iced tea. You want to come? Yeah, let's do that." And it didn't faze me. And some of the reason is I saw other people being late. And it really, it didn't faze me, but I was always stressed when I was late. But guess what? That didn't change. Getting older, I'm still late to everything. Always ripping and running. 2 to 3 minutes late, in my opinion, wasn't bad. I felt like I was still on time. That was within my own grace period. It didn't really matter. If I had to clock in at 8 o'clock, I would find out what is the grace period before you were late. I remember one place, it was 8:08 because it was on the 7, they would round down. The number of times that I'm flying in, running in, clocking in at the 8:07 going, yeah, I made it. Absolutely unnecessary. Okay, fast forward to as an adult. I remembered there was this job that I was perfect for. And I was in this group where the hiring manager for this particular job, we were friends. And I went to him and I said, "Oh my gosh, I saw this. You should absolutely hire me." And he looked at me and he said, I would never hire you. And I said, no. I'd be perfect for this. And I'm telling him why. And he looked and he said, "I would never hire you. I've never seen you be on time to any of our group functions." And my reply was just absolutely blown away. No. I'll be on time for a job. I mean, this doesn't even count. And he looked at me and he said, "I would never be able to trust that." Right, that changes everything, right? Nope, still late to everything. I had friends who would invite me to things. If it started at 2, they would tell me noon, hoping I'd get there by 2:30, maybe 3. When they told me that, I felt terrible. Not enough to change. Here's what changed my life. One of my friends said, "I can't count on you as a friend as much because I don't know if you're ever going to be on time to something." And that hurt. Friendship is one of my highest values. And that changed it for me. In order for me to be a friend, I had to change a behavior that had been there my whole life. It had become a priority. Now, if you're one of those people who are late. We can talk about all the fun reasons. You had one thing extra to do. You have ADHD like me. You lose track of time. There was traffic. It wasn't your fault. You can do all the excuses. And for those of you who are of the age, we can do the Blues Brothers of why he didn't make it to the wedding. It was an avalanche. It wasn't my fault. Yes, it may not have been your fault, but guess what? It was your ownership. Here's the tug tip. You don't have to prioritize your true priorities. Being late is a choice. There was a person that I coached who had ADHD, and we were working on their performance, and they were struggling. Obviously, that's why the company had reached out to me. I'd worked with them before, and we'd had great success. And sure enough, this person is moving along very well. We got to the place on punctuality. Punctuality was something that this person always struggled with, and it was a trigger for them. That anytime someone would say that they were not competent or they weren't good at their job or they were less because they didn't make it on time, she felt triggered. She felt like it was an attack. She felt like she didn't have control over being on time. I walked through a variety of steps, did the tug tip of you don't have to prioritize your true priorities. And when I said to her being on time was not one of her true priorities, she disagreed. And I said, it is a choice. And I'm going to be very honest with you all. This person started to cry. This was something new. And said I was being mean and that I was telling her that she could do things that she was incapable of doing. And that ended up being the last time I coached her. Not by my choice, but by her feeling like what I had said was incapable and that I was trying to make her do something that she can't do, and that wasn't fair, and that was mean. Here's another example of someone that I coached. I was doing trainings, and this one individual would show up late. And our rule was if you showed up late 3 times in this whole training, you had to start all over. And I believe it was like an 8 to 10 week course. The 3rd time he showed up, he had a legit reason. It was still the 3rd time. I sat him down and I asked him why was he late the other times, and he gave the normal reasons. And I said this, you don't have to prioritize your true priorities. And of course he said, no, this is a priority. This was for a career change. He needed this. Please don't kick him out. And this is what I said to him. I said, all right, what if I get approval from the other instructor and we take a vote from everybody in the class, because when you're late, it disrupts them. If we can get a unanimous vote, I will give you one more chance. He said, okay. And then I said, real quiet, I said, all right, also check this out. We just got this new budget in, and I have access to it, and I can do things and I don't even need permission. What do you say if every time you are on time, I sneak you $50? How's that sound? He said, absolutely. I said, so how will you make sure that you'll be on time? He said, oh, well, in that case, because I take the bus, well, then I'm going to take the earlier bus. And then because of this, then I'm going to do that. And then he went through, he goes, I guarantee you, I'll be 30 minutes early every time. You mean every time I show up? I said, every time. He said, yeah. I said, and that's why you're late. And he looked at me and I said, you're not prioritizing being on time. If it meant something to you, you would do what it takes. You already just said immediately a plan that you could execute and guarantee you would be on time every time. I gave you a carrot big enough I gave you the ROI big enough. I gave you an incentive, the Wi-Fi, though. What's in it for you big enough for you to change immediately? And he looked at me and he was shell-shocked. And I said, now that you know you can be on time, because it's a choice. I expect you to be on time. So much so that I'm going to override our whole thing. We're not going to even do the vote. I'm going to get you that extra chance just to see if you really want to be on time. Because if you do, you will be a great success story. And if you don't, you are telling me and everybody else, but more importantly, you're telling yourself this was not a priority. Guess what? He showed up on time and early for the rest of the whole thing. Got a new certification and got a new job. And one of the coolest things for me was I actually ran into his mother maybe 2 years later. And she said to me, "Thank you. It changed his life." And she, of course, said, "What did you do?" When you have a priority, a true priority, you don't have to put it on a list. You don't have to do anything. I don't care if it is doing homework. I don't care if it's spending time with your kids. I don't care if it's spending time with your spouse. I don't care what it is. Going to church, saving money, buying groceries, doing the dishes. I don't care what it is. If it is one of your true priorities, you don't have to prioritize it. You're going to do it, and you will find a way to do it. If you're sitting there in a relationship right now with someone and it is bad, and that person is just simply not doing any of the changes that they say they're going to, that they say they want to, if they're not doing them, it's not a priority. If you are a manager and you have one of those employees, they will not get their paperwork done. They will not get their task done. You don't have to fight. You don't have to yell. You don't have to scream. You don't even have to be frustrated. Walk up to them and say, you don't have to prioritize your true priorities. Is this task one of your true priorities? And you don't even have to ask them for the question, because the answer will be in their behavior. If you have been trying to do certain things and you just can't find the motivation, and you put it on your to-do list and it just stays on your to-do list, and then it goes on the next to-do list because you lost the first to-do list, and on and on. Take a moment, relax. Take a deep breath. Give yourself grace. Give yourself understanding and own it. It's not one of your true priorities. What's the Wi-Fi? If you're one of the people on the other side of whatever that behavior is, whether it's being late or they are not communicating in the relationship or they're not doing whatever it is, from a manager to a friend, what's the Wi-Fi? You don't have to be upset or frustrated. You don't have to figure out why. You don't have to keep trying to help them, encourage them, give them the tools. Simply ask, is this one of your true priorities? If it is, you will show me. If it's not, you will show me. Huge weight off. And if you are not doing something and you find it is one of those things you've really wanted to do, make it one of your true priorities. Find out what's the real reason you want to do it. What is the real reason? And if it's not that big of a reason, own that. Peace of mind, power, control, ownership, happiness. Oh, you get all these things. And if you're one of those people that is late to everything, now there's your secret. Thanks for joining us. Big shout out to our partners, Metro Studios. They are amazing. You can find them at www.metro-studios.com, and we will see you guys soon. We hope you enjoyed this episode of The System Works. Have fun with the action steps. Enjoy the Wi-Fis. Click like, click subscribe, and comment. The good and the bad, we like them all. We look forward to seeing you next time. The System Works. Own it.